If you guys are ready, I am ready to start
I'm ready.
in three,
Yeah.
2, 1. And welcome to CBM Voice Chat episode 14. And I'm with my name is Neophant, and I'm with my podcasting partner AngryBlackManta
Hey guys, how's it going?
and our regular guest, and honestly probably like a partner in training, Flash, aka Hank. How's it going?
I'm in training. That's what I am.
Yep.
Okay, I get it.
Training wheels on.
I like training wheels. They're fine. And then my dad ran over mine. It's a true story. That's how they got me off the training wheels.
Good times. And in today's discussion, we're going to be talking about movie trailers. What are they? Why they work? And I guess how trailers are made. Because I didn't know this until we had talked about it earlier, but Hank is very knowledgeable about the whole process and I guess the techniques that companies will use to actually make trailers. And if I could just start with asking you, Hank, what kind of things do you look for whenever you see a trailer?
Um, well, the thing that I always notice in fan trailers, they always want to do, especially when they want to show that they want to combine two characters and have them like show they're in the same movie. It's like, ooh, let's have a scene where a character throws something up like off screen and then it hits this other character from another movie. And it's like if you actually watch a lot of mainstream trailers for action movies, the characters rarely fight each other. There's a lot of quick cuts. There's shots of characters hitting at each other, but there's never a straight up few shots of a fight. It usually it's usually, and if there is, it's usually either one shot or it's like spliced. It's spliced in a weird way where like it doesn't get gratified because if it's an action movie, the action is what you're selling, and you don't want to give it all away straight on the trailer. And a lot of fan trailers, they're like, no, no, let's throw all the action right onto the trailer, and they just don't do that at all.
Okay. Do you usually like how often is like a scene does a scene last for in a trailer before it cuts to the next part? Is there like a specific science or a specific number of seconds that usually tends to prop up when it comes to keeping people's attention span?
This is where music is actually very important in trailers. If a lot of them, the one that comes to mind is the Dark Knight trailer. The I think one of the first ones that came out is they have Hans Zimmer scoring it, and a lot of the shots match up to um certain parts of the music. So like they will last until there's a certain either like another horn, and then it will cut to another thing, and it will. And a lot of the ways that's how it matches up is they will just try to match it up with the music. Um, and when you do that, you're able to get the audience in with the rhythm of the music, and that way, as they're going along, they are I don't know, sort of entranced by it a bit, sort of.
Okay, so it's kind of like so you're describing how the music kind of sets the atmosphere, kind of sets the tone for what the trailer is going to be, and also kind of gives audience or people who are watching the trailer kind of like cues to know when something big is happening, that type of thing.
About.
Okay.
And that's why I think some of the trailers that like trailers I don't enjoy, but people say that I don't work are ones where that have drastic music changes. I think the one that really threw me off and really turned me away from the movie when the first trailer came was actually Spider-Man Homecoming. And that's because they have just two radically different bits of music in it that just don't mix together and just are suddenly changed.
Yeah, they had the like this trailer music, and then they went right into MGMT's Time to Pretend or something. Is that the one you're talking
Well,
about?
they had Time to Pretend, and that was for a majority of the trailer. And then as soon as Vulture comes in, it just changes into like the stock
Yeah.
action movie trailer music, and it just throws you out like instantly. And like a lot of people are going into because it's Spider-Man, it's like, ooh, that's enough to keep us out. But as soon as I saw that trailer, it just threw me out completely. Um, and like certain trailers do this, and this is another thing that a lot of fan trailers do is they'll have a music and then they'll suddenly cut to a completely different song that doesn't match up with with what they were just using. Um,
Yeah. If you've ever seen the Magnificent Seven, So they had a House of the Rising Sun for one trailer, which is amazing and worked really well. And then they had another um, for their second trailer. They had some like I swear it was like Kanye West or something. But it just went terribly together. It threw me completely out. I hate this one. Was one of the worst trailers I've ever seen, actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Apart from that trailer, what else do you guys look for in the trailer that kind of helps you like anticipate how much you're gonna enjoy the movie? Are there like certain scenes that you're gonna watch out for? Is there kind of like a moment between the hero and the villain that you guys keep an eye out for that you feel like really kind of sets the tone for the movie itself?
I think I think for me, I look for acting. If I see something that really, or if I see a performance that's really draws me in, that they use for the trailer, and they know that that's how it's going to work, I'm really drawn to to stuff like that. If I see an actor I like doing a completely different performance that draws me in, um, as well as if it has good action, I'll watch anything with good action, really.
Okay.
Well, in a lot of ways, so in screenwriting, there's this rule called there's using this guideline. It's called the 10 minute rule, and basically that rule is by the 10th page or 10 minute, you should have all of your key elements introduced. You should have the audience should know what the conflict is, and they should know what the key players are. And for me, I think that's also really true with trailers, where some trailers that aren't as well done is they will not is they will bring most good trailers will give you an idea of what the conflict is and an idea of who the key players are, um, and usually that's what gets it work, and they will do it very early on in the trailer because they get you these are the characters, these are you, and then they will have the build up near the end, and they go this is why you should be excited, and that's something I look for in a lot of trailers, and I think the one that I think does it actually pretty well is Green Lantern actually.
Oh
The trailer
wow,
for
yeah.
Green Lantern I think actually does that pretty well.
So do you think it's kind of
Like
important that the trailer has to kind of tell a whole story, essentially,
well like it
within
brings
like the
in is
minute?
when it first gets in, um because trailers have usually tend to have about three parts sort of. They have the hook. The hook is usually for action movies, it's before the logos usually appear, where they sort of go like, it's sort of like the world is changing sort of aspect to it. Or it's like, oh, or something big is coming, and then it will go to the logos, and then that's when they start to set most things up. They go like, this is our main character, this is what they're fighting, this is sort of an idea of what the world is, and then it gets to the third part, which is this is why you need to be excited. And the Green Lantern trailer 2 does this very well, which is it starts out with the Green Lantern Corps, Sinestro going like, we have never seen this before. This is ridiculous. We need to stop this. And then we're shown Hal Jordan. He's given the ring, and then we're given an idea what the Green Lantern Corps is, what kind of a villain he's facing, and then it goes into this is why this movie is going to be good. This is why it's going to be exciting, and it pulls you, and by the end of it, you kind of get an idea what the movie's about, but you don't know all about the plot, and you're sort of excited for it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But yeah, well, as for myself, I tend to look at trailers as if they can tell kind of like a story, like a complete like what you said before with introducing the main character, what the conflict is, and what he or she or whomever is going to have to go through to resolve that conflict. That usually tells me it's a good trailer. But at the same time, I also like the atmosphere, like being able to have like these good like shots of like landscape, for example, or like these background moments where you can kind of see what the environment that the movie will be set in. It looks really cool too. And I just wanted to bring up like one movie trailer that I wanted to mention was the Watchmen trailer where they use that Smashing Pumpkins song. And if you're someone who reads like the original Watchmen comic, you see a lot of the scenes in the trailers. They don't necessarily have any dialogue, but they're all kind of like iconic and stuff that you would kind of know from reading the book too. And that also kind of helps sell what people want to see when they look at trailers. And or potentially watching the movie.
Well, yeah. What I'm sort of referring to is I think there's three types of trailers. There's the teaser trailer, which is often trailer one, or sometimes they will just have their own teaser trailer. Then there's trailer two, which is the story trailer. This is where they're gonna start giving details of what the story is like. And then the third one is usually a hype trailer, which is it usually is more you know what the story is. This trailer is just here to get you more excited.
I never actually thought about it like that, but the way that you
Well,
describe it, it makes absolutely
well,
perfect
I noticed
sense.
a lot, and like one of the things I noticed is people going like, "Oh, Thor Ragnarok! I'm super excited for that." And the thing I noticed is both their trailers are hype trailers. Both of them are set to this thing of let's just get you excited. Here's the action. Here's the characters. Be
Yeah,
excited.
that is something I noticed as well. Is there's not really a trailer where it talks like it draws like it fleshes everything out and you are able to feel something besides excitement.
Yeah, and like, and if you listen to those ones, they usually have this very energetic music. They usually have this one where it's just like the music on its own would get you pumped up and excited, and then when it's paired up with with these visuals, it just gets you more, and it's more just designed to get you excited. Rather, while I feel the trailer twos are there to get you interested, trailer threes are there to get you excited.
It actually makes a lot of sense because I've always noticed that the first trailer is like a teaser trailer. It gives you kind of a hint as to what the movie will be. Trailer two is usually, yeah, like you're right, it's what the story is. And then trailer three is when you kind of throw in all the action scenes, or it's kind of like that final last push for the marketing before the film actually comes out. And I guess it's trying to get people to think about maybe impulse buying a ticket for the movie at the last minute type of thing.
Well, I think the one movie I think that actually follows this trend very well is actually Spider-Man 3, where it does have this first they have the teaser and then they have trailer 2, which is the story trailer, and then they have trailer 3, which is the hype trailer, which is now let's show our big guns. Where the first one is let's intrigue them, let's have it slower music, and then it builds up epic without showing any of the story. It's just here are these characters you remember. We barely see any of Sandman. We only get a few glimpses of the black suit. We see barely anything of Harry as the new Goblin in it, and the title is just three. That's it.
Oh
That's
wow, yeah.
that's all we get for the title. Then trailer two is more of the story. We know what Sandman is about. We know the turmoils that Peter and Mary Jane's relationships are going through or starting to go through. We're introduced to the black suit and the problems it's going to bring, and then we go to that. Then trailer three is let's get excited. We got Venom, and then it's more get excited, get excited, get excited, and it's more of this, and it has this more final battle kind of music to it.
Okay. Have you guys heard about the trailer like music making companies like Two Steps and I'm not sure what the other ones are, but are there any particular?
There's one of them is Petrie. Probably totally not doing his name justice. Does a lot of them too. Then there's really slow. I think it's really slow motion.
Yeah, that's it.
Then there's intermediate music.
Oh wow.
I'm knowledgeable about this because I have a lot of these on my iTunes.
Yeah, I have a lot of
There's high
two steps and
radius.
slow motion.
There's high radius, and then there's Zach Hemsey, who his most famous piece is actually Mind Heist from the Inception trailer, which a
Yeah.
lot of people actually confused with Hans Zimmer.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds almost exactly like the score. It fits right in
Right.
perfectly.
Blanc is not a Hans Zimmer thing; it's actually Zach Hemsey.
For
That
the
really,
Mission Impossible trailer?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. No, I never really thought about that because we always hear about like film composers and leaving their mark on like the films themselves, but the trailers also have like their own unique musicians and groups who are like working on kind of like creating that sound. And is there anything that kind of distinguishes them to you guys? Or like what strikes out to you most whenever you listen to like a trailer or watch a trailer and kind of think of, oh, I know who where that music came from. It came from this guy or group.
Um, it's happened a lot more now since I've listened to a lot of it. It's sort of the thing where you start to get more into voice acting, and now like when a character talks, you go, "Ooh, I know who that voice actor is." Where sometimes you'll hear music and go, "I know which song they're using." Um, I forgot what trailer it was recently, but they used a song. I'm like, "Oh my god, I've heard that song before. I know what trailer music that is." And sometimes it could take you out of it, but sometimes it's like, I want to listen to it again. Or sometimes what happens sometimes with me is I know where like the sort of beats are in the song. I'm like, ooh, I wonder how they're going to use it to that, or how they would use it differently.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not nearly enough experienced with it to be able to pick out who's who, but I think there is one that like really slow motion that I can pick out sometimes. So I do like a couple of their songs and have them in my playlist. But I just remember that like there are occasionally you hear music from a TV show or you hear trailer music in a TV show. I know that happened with Burn Notice. Had the same music from the first trailer for X-Men First Class, which is an amazing song. And then what was it? Oh, so Broadchurch, the Fantastic Four movie used Broadchurch, the Broadchurch theme in their first teaser.
That's so cool. I had no idea. Wow, for these Broadchurch music.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
this the guy who composed it. His name was like unpronounceable, but yeah, if you listen to it, it's a really good score, and I totally see why they used it. It worked.
Well, another thing that people use for scores that I'm noticing that they've been doing recently, I'm like, and I think it's also really effective is when they incorporate the movie score into it. And I think for me, I believe the ones who are the most prominent in doing this are actually the Star Wars movies,
Yes.
where like and I remember how powerful it was when I think it was the second trailer for Force Awakens came out and it hit those notes of the Force theme and just how powerful it was when it hit. Where it was like that's a theme I haven't heard in years, and just hearing it again with these new visuals, and that's enough to get you excited. And like they did that with the Dark Knight trilogy. Um, and I think for some of them they actually had Hans Zimmer make original pieces for some of the trailers themselves. Like
Well,
I
you can
believe I believe Dark Knight Rises actually had some original pieces just for the trailers.
you can see the effect that has though. If you just watch the Heroes trailer for Justice League with those few piano notes from Man
Oh
of
yeah.
Steel.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, everyone. If you watch the reactions, everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's that theme! It's that theme!"
Well,
Hmm.
also like when you Justice League also I believe fit a lot of the molds. I think they actually used two hype trailers and then one story trailer with the Comic Con trailer being the story trailer. Hence why it has more of this more dramatic feel to it, while the other ones are like, hey, let's have fun, let's be excited. Um, and that's why I believe there's such this big difference between them. But also
Well, I
like
think they did. I think they did something completely opposite almost for Batman v Superman because
Batman v Superman, I think they actually follow the same format.
really,
They
because I feel
well,
like I feel like they had a lot of those long, slow moments where they talked about the issues of dealing with Superman as a character and Batman's whole issues with that until it came to like that final trailer, and they had just had all those complaints. Like, fine, we'll just throw in Batman, just wrecking a bunch of people, and
yeah, I believe the film was
Tar,
a
and
very
there we
hype
go.
trailer.
Hmm. Yeah,
Or
but
something.
then, but didn't trailer two kind of like spoil that whole Doomsday reveal, which kind of soured a lot of
The
people?
which well, the thing was, trailer two was also a story trailer, and I think it was very sloppily done one.
Hmm.
So
I don't know. I really liked it. I just don't like the very last shot of the Trinity together. I don't mind. We've talked about this before, but I don't mind Doomsday being in there. Just just make sure the journey to him being the journey
the
to creating
problem
him is
that they
good.
do with Doomsday in a trailer is the second trailer for Batman v Superman. I do mean the Doomsday trailer is one of my least favorite trailers for any movie, and it's not because they reveal Doomsday, but it's just a very sloppily put together trailer. Um, like when Doomsday almost kind of appears in it, and like the way that like the biggest problem is as soon as Doomsday appears, the trailer stops. Like it almost like just grinds to a halt.
Well,
And
yeah,
then
I
like
think
it plays out with the like how the movie kind of plays out.
Yeah, I kind
Where
of
Doomsday
like
then turns and then he launches like he blasts his lasers. Wonder Woman comes in. Superman looks at Batman, and they have that exchange. And then the music starts up again. It's like, and it feels like the trailer just stopped for a moment and then resumed. And
well,
that's
I think
and
it
I
was done
feel
on
like that.
purpose, and I feel like it was done well actually, because that was something that I liked. Was it goes to black, you hear the silence, and then you hear the roar. You see him come down, and then you see everyone just freaks out because it's Doomsday. Holy crap! We never expected to see him on the big screen, and it's like it just kind of gives you that moment to go, "Oh shit!" Just like Batman.
Well, the thing why I have it is it kind of goes a bit too long,
Uh,
and it just lacks that like feeling to it. Is when Doomsday first jumps down, it's not a very imposing shot. Like he's kind of just standing there.
it's also kind of
yeah,
like yeah, it also
I
kind of
get
messes
that.
up because you kind of know what the story's going to be once you see Doomsday because it kind of gives you hints and clues as to not only how the Batman Superman conflict is going to end, but also what the real big final boss battle of the movie is going to be, and it
Well,
just kind of
like
sucked away that anticipation.
well, also the way how it's structured is I say like you introduce the conflict and then the key players, and then that's it. Then you go to this is why you should be excited. This one is here's the key players and here's the beats of the film.
Hmm.
Here's basically how the story goes, rather than this is what the conflict is. Now this is going.
This is interesting because yeah, I don't feel that way. I was completely happy with it. 'Cause as I said before, just give me a good journey. I don't care what you show me in the trailer. And I felt like there was plenty of stuff that they did show us that I had no idea was coming. I also, I should have expected him to die, but that came as a surprise.
I
So yeah,
guess yeah.
that's very interesting. That's very interesting. That just to see how different people feel about.
Well, also with the hype trailer way. That's also why I believe like with Thor, but that's also why I think Suicide Squad actually did so well. Is a lot of their trailers were hype trailers, which were where they had music and then it was a lot of flashy visuals, but you got zero on what the story was. It was this is look flashy colors. These characters are making jokes. We're excited. Be excited, but like by the end of the trailer, you go like, oh, what's Suicide Squad about? I don't know. I just know that these characters are in it and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that they did away with the Comic Con first look because that whole thing like set to that was it the Bee Gees song?
Yeah, it was like a Bee Gees song
The,
cover with like a very
oh
haunting melody type style.
yeah.
That was great. Yeah.
Every time I see it, I want to see that Ayer cut of his movie before the trailer house came in and wrecked shop. But yeah, it's just like that's one of my favorite. It's actually when I think about it, it is a kind of a favorite. Just like with the way that it makes you feel, just how it's really dark and icky, and the music is just so perfect. It just goes so perfectly with the cinematography and the rest of the movie.
Because the movie always had that kind of like dark look to it, like it was very like grim almost and kind of serious, especially when it's a film called Suicide Squad and it's about kind of like the worst villains of the DC universe kind of banding together. And then I guess what was it, that Queen song that came out right afterwards, or was there another song that kind of like helped prop up
No,
that perception of
it was
Suicide Squad as more of like a pop heavy kind of like teen friendly song?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
there's the Bohemian Rhapsody, and then there was the um,
Ballroom Blitz.
You Don't Own Me. Yeah, Ballin'
Oh
Blitz.
yeah, Ballroom Blitz, yeah. But Bohemian Rhapsody was the second one, right? The second trailer?
Yes.
Yeah. And then I guess everyone really reacted really well to that, so eventually that's kind
Well,
of what
because
led
it's also a
to
hype trailer,
yeah.
and hype trailers usually gain the most positive reactions. Um, and that's usually how they are. Is the second trailer is the story trailer, and those are usually to garner the most interest, the most intrigue, where it's like okay, I want to learn more about this. And then the hype trailers are more like, okay, this looks really awesome. I just want to see how awesome it gets.
Can we talk about that Watchmen trailer that says absolutely nothing, has no dialogue in it, except for
that's what I
that one
mentioned
line?
with that with the Smashing Pumpkins song,
I
the
don't
slower
think.
one. No, I think that was
Yeah,
trailer
yeah,
one.
it's the Smashing Pumpkins
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the only line of dialogue is "God help us all."
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just imagery. The entire trailer is just image after image after image. You don't even know entirely, like you don't even know exactly what's going on really. Because I remember being like, "What is this? I don't know what's happening, but this is amazing, and I want to see it," because I'd never read Watchmen before. But yeah, and then just closes with that, the comedian saying, "God help us all." Absolute perfection.
I know. Yeah, that's one of my favorites too, just because of like how much anticipation there was for a Watchmen film and how like amazing it looked when you first kind of like saw those shots and wasn't sure of like how it would play out or how it would be constructed within the movie because the movie itself was only what 2.5 hours long and the book itself is like a dense 12 issue series and you knew they weren't going to keep everything but at the same time you were shocked and surprised and I guess pleasantly happy to see all those big moments kind of still there.
Oh man, yeah, that
Yeah.
I have
Uh,
not
it's a
seen the
brilliant
trailer in
trailer.
question.
okay, no worries.
Let me see if I can find it for you.
I did want to ask you
I'll
guys
share it
though,
afterwards.
were there any trailers that you felt were misleading to the point where it actually kind of hurt the movie for you guys? Because I have a couple of examples, and I think you already brought
Hurt me
one up.
personally, or just in general for audiences?
For
War
you
for the
guys
Planet of the
personally.
Apes.
Okay,
War for the Planet of the Apes. It's very misleading.
very misleading. Okay, my big example, and I think you've already mentioned before, was Age of Ultron, because I was so excited to see what James Spader could do as
Yeah.
Ultron,
Uh,
and that completely devastated me when he was not
well,
like
the
that at all
reason
after that
why
point in
is
the
because this was
movie.
when when I was still way more into Marvel than I am now. So I would follow all the TV spots and all the trailers, and then the TV spots and last trailer they went kind of spelled out what the tone of the movie was.
Hmm.
And then I'm kind of like, oh, okay. And then like the first two trailers are a completely different movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
They are very dark. They're very melancholy. They're very dark. Especially the second trailer. The second trailer almost makes it out like a horror movie.
Hmm.
Holy crap! That trailer offends me to this day.
The second trailer.
Well, no, I mean just not the trailer itself, but just like the way that they set everything up and how Ultron was like so close to his comic book self. Like he was just this cold, unfeeling robot that was wanted to save humanity, but save it from themselves. And you see Captain America drop that car off that bridge or whatever, and it's like, holy crap, they're gonna do it, and then they didn't. They failed completely, like on almost every level.
Exactly. That's part of the reason why I still don't really find Age of Ultron to be like that good of an MCU film. Like I know it's still pretty well shot. The story is solid. I actually really do like the whole scenes of the Avengers going to Hawkeye's house to kind of recoup for a bit. But just thinking about like how disappointed I was when I eventually saw the movie absolutely soured like my perception of it, even up to this
I
day.
I don't want to go purely on Marvel, but the Civil War trailers kind of threw me off a bit, just with how personal they were getting. And then when you get to the movie and it's not that personal until like the very end.
Yeah, not really, but that's more of like
Well,
a
because like the
complaint about
trailers,
Civil War. Yeah.
especially the second one where Spider-Man shows up, the shot that I think sold it for me was when Tony's holding just over Rhodey's body and he tears off and he's like and most people thought he was dead and it just has the voiceover, I was wrong about you. The whole world was wrong about you. Sets a completely different tone than what the movie was. Where
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
it gives this like where Tony just feels absolutely betrayed by Cap, and in the movie, until the end, there's never really this sense of just betrayal.
Yeah, Marvel's really good at honey dicking us.
I mean, I didn't want to
Exactly.
go straight to Marvel, but that was like what came right into my head.
Okay. And the other example I wanted to kind of bring up, and this is more of kind of like I should have known that the movie was going to be like it, but the trailer didn't really make it seem like it was. Have you guys ever heard of a movie called Knight of Cups by Terrence
I have
Malick?
not.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Okay, so Knight of Cups is basically imagine a film where Christian Bale goes around dating women, having all these fun like little moments, having these kind of weird human bonding moments with his
But
family.
he's secretly Batman.
Something like that. But really, that was the entire movie. It was just vignette and moment after moment without barely any like narrative cohesion. It was more of just like a bunch of scenes stitched together to kind of establish the idea that Christian Bale's character likes to party a lot. And the
Uh,
funny thing is that the trailer did the exact same thing. They gave you all these like cool party scenes and all these like great moments of like Christian Bale like and other like famous celebrities doing all this weird fun stuff. And then when you watch the movie, that's exactly what the film is. It's like the whole movie itself was one long trailer of completely disjointed scenes that eventually led to a very disappointing ending and thus kind of bummed me out when I finally saw it because I really liked the trailer, but then in the end, the movie ended up being exactly like the trailer,
Wow.
which is weird.
uh,
Jeez.
But then again, yeah, I don't know if you guys, yeah, if you guys know Terrence Malick, he likes to just throw a lot of symbolism and really
well,
cool,
the thing
pretty
is,
looking
what I want
scenes
to get
and
interested is we've been talking a lot about like action movie trailers, but what about like horror movie trailers? Because um, in some ways, I think they follow sort of a similar pattern, but they also have this style that's unique to how they sell horror.
hmm
Um, I think okay, so I think if we're looking for a good example for a horror trailer, Get Out, which I have not seen yet. That one threw me so hard because I was, you have the whole opening of this black guy and his girlfriend going to meet her parents, and it's just like, oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm expecting a comedy or something, and then I can't remember what it was, but like there's just like this weird racial comment or something just put out there, and it's like that's not right, and it's just like this. It's
Well, yeah, this is how they do their story trailers. Instead, is they do kind of set it as like they do set it into the realm of reality near the beginning of the trailer, and then like it just starts to seem a bit off,
yeah, and
and then it
it's
starts to plunge in near the end of the trailer.
what Get Out was able to do. That was just so perfect though. Was I remember just like I don't want to say it's a black person thing, but you notice if you've ever been a minority in a room or something, and someone is maybe a little bit prejudiced or something, and you kind of get that feeling, like maybe it's just like from a look or just something someone says, but it's just like something that just you feel. That's the kind of the feeling that I got from the trailer, which really hooked me and got me intrigued. And I don't know why I never saw it or haven't seen it yet. But yeah, yeah, we're supposed to do a group watch. But yeah, I just remember having that feeling like, oh, that's not okay. That's not right. And then it just kept snowballing from there. And it's like, what is going on? What is this movie?
because Get Out
Like
didn't necessarily yeah market itself as a horror movie at first, right? It felt more
um, no, I
like a
think it was
thriller.
more advertised as more of a straight horror movie.
Okay.
I remember the trailer that I saw that I thought was actually really interesting was it was sort of like where it's like, oh, you gotta meet my parents and stuff like that. But then it was mainly focused around the hypnosis scene, and that's what got me
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
because it
yeah.
just where it did start normal, and then it just like took a sharp turn into just really dark, and then it just went like, and then it just showed the time like, oh my god, I have to see what happens next. Yeah, and I think right there is actually a perfect example of what makes trailers work is you have to leave the audience with enough information that they kind of get an idea what's going on, but it's crucial that you give them okay, so what happens next, especially with horror trailers.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do horror trailers usually tend to kind of tell you, I guess, how violent or gruesome the film itself is going to be, and are you kind of like surprised when the actual movie itself doesn't follow up to that, or kind of only does mostly like a tease, like a PG-13 type of violence?
I I really can't answer too well because I don't watch horror movies because they don't interest me. The Get Out trailer is really the only one that's ever really got me intrigued about a horror movie, except for Split. Split was really good too,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's kind of for me when it comes to horror trailers, it's like a checklist. You know, I see okay, so we have that opening where everything's fine, and then someone gets killed, check. Girlfriend goes missing, check. Girl starts screaming, check. Lights go out, check. It's just like a checklist for me, and it's like never very interesting. So I don't know.
You forgot if there's an haunted object, there's a shot of them reaching for it before it cuts to black.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All the time, and then they'll do something, and then there'll be something spooky in the background, and then logos.
Yeah, someone gets sucked into the darkness somewhere in there as well.
Exactly. I don't. Yeah.
And usually the stinger of the trailer is always someone screaming. It's usually a calm, and then it follows with someone screaming.
Hmm. Yeah. There's one horror movie that I guess it doesn't really count as a horror movie, but was kind of played up with the trailer as a straight horror movie. Was Cabin in the Woods. I don't know if you guys remember
Oh,
seeing that one.
Yeah.
I think that was like one of the best examples of a misleading trailer.
Hmm.
Because
That
they
worked to
played
its
it-
benefits.
They
Yeah.
played it absolutely straight as like it's a typical horror movie.
Exactly. But then, because you don't see
Where
any of like the big moments from the third act that
You,
kind of
you
like
don't, but
twist the
also
narrative
it's
around.
very structured in how horror movie trailers are, where it's like, ooh, it's teens, we're going to party, we're having fun, we're having fun. Wait, something's not right. Wait, something's going on. Build up, build up, build up. More adrenaline, build up, scream, title.
Hmm.
And it's like stuff like that where that's how a lot of horror movie trailers are, and then Cabin in the Woods just perfectly emulates it, which is, I don't know, awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like there's a good way to mislead people to make them like surprised when the movie turns out to be something different and maybe more like in depth or deeper, like Get Out, as you had mentioned before, and then
And then
sometimes
there's Collateral Beauty.
oh hey, I actually like Collateral Beauty. I love to hear your thoughts on it though.
Well, it's just how much the trailer just kind of
Oh yeah, you're right.
misled.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole
Well,
marketing
like,
campaign was a huge giant like middle finger to people who actually watched it, I agree.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
they have that, and then the other like because people bring up misleading trailers. I'm like, no, the two that always stick in my mind are Collateral Beauty, and I think it's Paranormal Activity 3. Because Paranormal Activity 3 was, I believe, a trailer that featured footage exclusive to to trailers. The footage never appeared in the movie.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, now that I think about it, because I remember actually having read the reviews for Collateral Beauty and saw why it got such a low Rotten Tomato percentage, and then once I already kind of knew that was the intention, when I actually did watch the movie, I kind of thought it was okay, but I definitely agree that the way that the trailers kind of misled you into thinking what was one premise of the film, it actually ended up being kind of like not only like a big like screw you to people who were kind of excited for that idea, but also extremely misleading in the way that uh, it makes the main characters look kind of foolish and changes around who you thought were the main characters. Yeah, that was actually uh, a bit surprising too. But overall, I think the movie itself, if you had kind of ignored that marketing campaign, it had its moments. It wasn't perfect by any means, though.
I have a question.
Yep. Yep.
So this is gonna be it's kind of weird, but does it ever turn you off to seeing a movie when you see like a good example is a couple weeks ago I saw a trailer for thank you for serving or whatever with Miles Teller. Thank you for your service, or which
Yeah,
whatever the name of the movie is. And then right after that, it showed a trailer for his um,
the
firefighter movie.
fire movie, Only the Brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that ever turn you off to a movie when you see an actor, a big actor, in two movies back to back as trailers?
I don't think I've ever had that happen.
I think the only time that's ever happened to me was Mark Wahlberg, and I think it was like
Yeah. The only time it ever happened for me was
Transformers and Daddy's Home, maybe? I don't know.
the only one time it happened for me, and it was a weird example, was going to see The Mummy with Tom Cruise, and one of the trailers I think was American Made.
Ew.
And it was and the
Yeah,
trailer
no.
ends with Tom Cruise going, "Believe me, it only gets crazier from here." And no, and my friend and I, knowing what movie we were seeing afterwards, couldn't help but just laugh our heads off.
Hmm.
It just-
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
I think
that's a good example, but no, doesn't bother me.
I don't know. It's weird because like I feel like I have to choose between the movies. It sounds really stupid. It's like of course I don't have to choose between the movies, but it's like, this one was better, so I'm not gonna watch that one.
Because you're already committed, right? Because if there's a case where it's like two movie trailers and they're showing like the same actor in both of those movies and they're both kind of like in the same type of role, then you're kind of like thinking, oh, which one do I like better? Does it matter which one based on the actor? It's a bit, yeah, that is a bit weird.
Actually, it happens to Chris Hemsworth a lot. Like he had Avengers and The Huntsman, Snow White and the Huntsman together. Those both came out at the same time. And then right now he has um, 13.
Thor and
He has
13.
Thor and that the horses, the army, where he's a soldier and they have
Oh, is it kind of
horses
like
and
Army of 13 or something like that? Or
13 soldiers or something
13
like.
soldiers? Okay, so yeah, that's weird. I've actually not seen a trailer for Only the Brave or the 13 horses or 13 movies like here. I don't know if that's maybe like because those are more kind of like American military type like honoring type of films and here in Canada we don't really care that much maybe. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know, but it's just
Huh.
like they're always. It's happened like three times where it's just back to back with Miles Teller, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm sick of top of Miles Teller. Get out of here! I'm not gonna watch either of these.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess there's not too much else I wanted to ask except for maybe for you guys like, or were there any other trailers that you really liked or
One thing
disliked and wanted to
that
bring
just
up?
popped in my head that I actually remembered and I thought was actually really interesting that was done with the Justice League trailers is there was actually some sort of some weird musical continuity between them where if you actually watch a lot of the trailers, a lot of them start with the music used from the last trailer and
Hmm.
then they segue into their own trailer and then the next trailer sort of picks off with the musical cues from the last trailer.
Okay, yeah, I can see that, especially with that Gary Clark Come
Yeah,
Together song. Yeah,
like I think the first trailer starts off with a bit of the it was the Icky Thumps,
yeah, by the White Stripes.
yeah,
Yeah.
White Stripes a bit, and then it comes starts to come together, and then the Comic Con trailer starts with Come Together before transitioning into its more orchestral
Orchestral,
mix,
yeah.
and which is sort of based off the Man of Steel theme, and then the final trailer starts off with notes from the Man of Steel theme before going into the Heroes theme.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Like that whole like consistency in movie trailers. I don't know if we've ever noticed anything like that before with any other trailers, but then again, I guess that's not really the case because we don't usually scrutinize a film's trailers that much.
I think Age of Ultron did that as well with the no strings.
Bit.
A little bit, yeah.
I want to say they did the same. They had the same concept.
Okay. Do you guys, we talked a little bit about the editing, but do you guys prefer a fast-paced trailer with like tons of cuts, or do you prefer like longer, slower, drawn out, longer with like longer scenes? Like for example, that Watchmen
Uh,
trailer.
I think it's kind of a mix of both because I'm a fan of trailer twos or story trailers where they're sort of and a lot of them are more like the Dark Knight trailer than the Green Lantern trailer 2, and then also the second Comic-Con Justice League trailer I liked more than the other ones. Right, and then I believe that the Man of Steel 3 trailer that a lot of people like is also a story trailer. And like I just like them because they're sort of slower, but then they build up by the end, and it's more faster cuts by the end.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that formula as well. I like seeing. I'm thinking of Logan actually, because it starts out. I think the second trailer starts out a lot with the same kind of scene, with X-23 carrying the guy's head out and everything, and then it builds up into the quicker cuts. And I think Star Trek is really. I think the Star Trek movies have been really good at that as well. Like if you watch the first 2009 one, it's about him getting beat up in a bar and him talking to what's his face?
Pike.
Yeah, Captain Pike.
Captain Pike.
They got the Two Steps from Hell Freedom Fighters music.
yeah. It's a beautiful song.
Anyone who's listening to this can actually look up that exact title and they will get that music.
I can't remember the name of it. I have it on my...
Two Steps from Hell Freedom Fighters.
Duh. I wasn't listening. All I was hearing was Two Step.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Star Trek movies have always been really good at that. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like it when like trailers can kind of have like a style, or like they can have a certain like set of establishing shots. Like you know how when we first saw that the Last Jedi trailer, there was like those shots in the back of the heads of all like the principal players, so you kind of see like the pan out into what the background of what the environment is, and kind of like setting up how how the movie's going to look. And then the second trailer, I think it starts with that close up of Rey's hand, right? And it suddenly turns into all frontal shots.
I think it starts with.
Or did it start with?
Same trailer.
Were they the
Yeah,
same
it's the
trailer?
same trailer.
Okay, never mind
It's-
then. Yeah,
The
but
second,
This
yeah,
one
the second
starts up
one
with
is-
her igniting with sort of the same, and then it's her igniting the lightsaber.
Yeah,
and then
it's Kylo Ren from the
The
back.
second one, I believe, is also story trailer because then it's also showing where each character is at this point in the saga, which is Rey is getting training, Kylo's
potentially,
abandonment
shooting,
is finished with living in Darth Vader's shadow. Finn isn't doing anything.
Hey man, he's infiltrating the First Order.
Or something.
At least he's awake,
Poe is giving inspirational speeches.
Porgs.
And Porgs.
Porgs. Very cool.
Porgs.
I don't care what anyone says, I love the Porgs.
I bet they taste like chicken nuggets.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
With like a little bit more of a blubbery flake.
Maybe. I don't know. If anyone knows what porgs taste like, tell us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious.
Or penguin.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Yeah, I guess we'll probably just start wrapping up the episode, but I did want to ask like one more thing about do you feel that maybe because of certain movies, trailers, do we scrutinize them a lot more than we did before? Because of maybe how popular the internet is and how easy it is to keep rewatching and rewatching them on YouTube?
We didn't used to have as many trailer breakdowns as we do now.
Yeah, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because I'd love to be able to see, just real quickly, to see like connections to the previous movies, or just to see shots and get like cool backgrounds or whatever. But then it's also a bad thing where we over scrutinize things, and then like for BVS, I scrutinized that so closely, and I built up a story in my head, and then ended up being let down because I didn't follow that story.
Well, actually, that reminds me of when Dark Knight Rises was coming out. I watched the trailer so much that basically I pinned together a story, and the movie was exactly what I pinned together.
It's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
It's not that movie.
but I basically, it was only on the third trailer, and they had like two more trailers left. And like I basically went, okay, here's what I think is gonna happen. I basically outlined the entire movie. It's like, okay, so it's been several years since Batman's been active. He was like, but then Bane makes it to Gotham, and he's able to bring enough attention to get Batman out of hiding. And it's like, and when Batman first faces Bane, he loses, and Bane is able to capture him and take him out of the city, and is able to completely run Gotham.
Well, I don't know how much of that is piecing it together and just knowing the canon or the lore.
I don't know. That was just going straight off the trailers.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good stuff, guys. Thank you for listening to CBM Voice Chat. This has been episode 14, and we just kind of talked about trailers. Like I said again,
like posters a bit more.
You like posters a bit more? What do you like? Why do you like posters more than trailers?
Well, it's odd because it's something I really like doing when I was a kid. Because my family would always arrive at theaters pretty early. So what I would do is I would actually just go around in movie theaters. They just have the walls and they just have the posters of the coming soon. And for me, that was always once done right would just get me excited for the movie. I wouldn't have to see any trailers. I would just get excited. I remember one of my great one of the biggest moments of anticipation was when I was little and we walked in the theater, and the first thing I see is that the old poster for the original Spider-Man where he's peeking out from behind the building, and just how excited alone that got me, and I didn't even need to see a trailer. I just wanted to see the movie then.
Yeah, good old days.
Well, and like sometimes there is an art where just they do it like a lot of for a lot of superheroes, especially like well-known ones, the poster is just the logo and just is coming soon, and that's all it needs to be, and it will get you excited.
It's kind of like all you need is one icon, one image, but you don't also want to fill up the poster with too much stuff because then it'll be like a confusing, jumbling mess like that Spider-Man Homecoming poster that people were mocking because all the random like characters that were just photoshopped into it.
And then the other one, the Spider-Man posters have gotten a lot for helping me. I remember how excited I got because before there were trailer breakdowns, I did poster breakdowns.
That's so cool.
I remember there was one where I was like so excited because this was before like we had as much access as we do, and we knew who the villains were before the trailers came out. We knew who was cast before it came out. And I remember they had one for Spider-Man 2. I was so excited, and then I just looked at the reflection of his lens and I saw just the silhouette of Doc Ock.
Oh yeah,
and it just blew my mind. And I just got so excited.
I have that poster still.
I was just like, oh, they're making a second one. I wonder who's the villain. I'm so excited. And then I just see the reflection in his, like, I just see the reflection in his eye. I'm like, oh. That's also another really good trailer. The Spider-Man 2 trailer. That's also a really good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but like, it really depends, though, because some of the simpler posters are pretty crappy. And it's like, I think it's just because of, well, like if you look at the Black Panther one, where he's just sitting on a throne, and it's so.
Well, yeah, but there's some of them where they're very, very low effort, and that's because now I think more attention is being done to how other marketing is done, because now you can release more than one poster. Now you can you have multiple trailers, and now you have like. With like the internet, you can like have hashtags. You can now have all this other stuff, and now there's just so much less attention put into posters.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Well, it's kind of become its own cottage industry, like being able to like create your own designs. There's those Mondo posters that people really love because they have that really cool artwork for a lot of different movies. People like those.
Well, I don't know. Like posters, I believe can generate way more interest than trailers sometimes. Well, the one that always sticks in my mind, I'm sort of kind of upset I haven't seen Justice League really do it. Or they have, and I just don't know because I haven't gone to theaters as much anymore. But for the first Avengers movie, I remember they had separate posters for each member, and it was just within the Avengers logo. And like, I remember one theater I went to, they had like for all of the members, and they were just scattered throughout the theater, and it was really cool.
Okay. I can kind of get
But
that.
yeah, I'm done talking about posters now.
It kind of has a whole like collectathon, like collect them all type of mentality.
Yeah.
You just want to see
Yeah.
them all and see how they look and compare them. But yeah, no, thank you for so much because actually I never really thought about the way that posters can kind of like help kind of
Well,
stir your imagination.
Well, like I
to see the
remember,
movie.
it was one of my film teachers said like the best poster she had ever seen was actually for the '89 Batman movie, where it was just the logo.
Yeah,
And
that's
saying,
the
coming
one.
soon, she said for so many people that was just enough.
Hmm.
They didn't need to see a trailer or anything. That was enough to get them excited.
Exactly. It's all about kind of like that brand awareness, right? Or being able to kind of like market that one logo, that one kind of like uh copyrighted thing to or trademark thing, I guess, to
It's like well, it's also like with
iconic
Wolverine
status.
for a poster, you just need to show the claws, or
Mhm.
for X-Men, you just need to show the X.
Yeah, I remember looking at those X-Men posters and being like, "That's all I need. That's all I need. I haven't even seen the trailer yet."
You're just there.
And like that's also like how I think why a lot of the Marvel Stingers worked is they were also they were kind of also done with how posters were, where they kind of just they didn't show other characters, they just gave you an idea and just got you excited. Where
Mhm.
like for when they teased Thor, it was just the hammer, and you can imagine that a while ago they would have just had a poster of just the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I think we kind of went on a little long, but no, it was honestly a great discussion to chat with you guys. And like I said before, this has been episode 14 of the CBM Voice Chat. Thank you, Angry Black Manta,
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a
and
good time.
thank you, Hank, once again for joining me. My name is Neophant, and honestly, this is actually a really enlightening discussion.
You're welcome. My throat is completely burned out.
All right, take care.